How I Paid Off $50,000 in Debt, My Personal Journey. Welcome to Wealthrise. Today, I'm sharing a deeply personal story, one that I believe will resonate with so many of you who are struggling with debt or financial stress. It's not easy to talk about being in debt, especially when it's a large amount like $50,000. But if I've learned anything from my own experience, it's that you're not alone, and it is absolutely possible to overcome even the heaviest of financial burdens. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through my journey of paying off $50,000 in debt and how I turned my financial situation around. This journey wasn't quick, and it wasn't without setbacks, but it was one of the most transformative periods of my life. I'm going to share exactly how I did it, the lessons I learned along the way, and how you can apply these steps to your own life, regardless of how much debt you're in. I hope my story inspires you to take action and shows you that with the right mindset, tools, and commitment, you can take control of your finances and achieve financial freedom too. If you find this story helpful or inspiring, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Wealthrise. We are here to help guide you on your own financial journey. My story, how I ended up with $50,000 in debt. Let's rewind a few years. I was in my mid-20s, fresh out of college, and like many others, I felt the excitement and freedom of financial independence. I was earning a modest salary, but I quickly fell into the trap of lifestyle inflation. As my income increased, so did my spending habits. I didn't have a financial plan or budget, just the desire to enjoy life without thinking too much about the future. At first, credit cards seemed like a lifeline. I used them to cover small expenses, like gas, food, and a few random purchases, but before I knew it, those balances started to pile up. Soon enough, my credit card debt, coupled with student loans, personal loans, and a car loan, added up to a staggering $50,000. The worst part? I didn't even realize how bad it had gotten until one day I sat down and added everything up. I was shocked and overwhelmed. How could I have let it get to this point? I felt trapped. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the emotional weight of carrying that much debt. The stress was consuming me. However, I didn't want to stay in that place. I knew I had to do something, so I made a decision. I would fight my way out of this debt, no matter how long it took. Step 1. Acknowledging the problem and taking responsibility. The first thing I had to do was face my debt head on. It's easy to ignore the problem, but avoiding it only makes it worse. I needed to stop making excuses and accept full responsibility for my financial situation. The fact was, I had made these choices, and now it was time to change course. Advice: if you find yourself in a similar situation, the first thing you must do is acknowledge your debt. Denial won't solve anything. Once you face it, you can start to build a plan to tackle it. Understanding where you stand financially is crucial for making meaningful progress. Step 2. Understanding my finances. The next step was to understand exactly where my money was going. I had to get detailed about my finances, what I was earning, where I was spending, and how much interest I was paying on each debt. I made a list of all my debts, including credit cards with interest rates as high as 24%, student loans, personal loans, car loan. Seeing all my debts listed out was a wake-up call. I realized how much money I was throwing away in interest, and it became clear that I needed to prioritize paying off the high-interest debt first. This process wasn't easy or comfortable, but it was necessary. Advice: start by making a list of all your debts, including interest rates and minimum payments. This will help you see where your money is going and allow you to create a strategy to tackle your debt. The clearer you are about your finances, the more effectively you can manage them. Step 3. Creating a debt repayment plan. With a full understanding of my debts, I needed to come up with a plan to pay them off. I decided to follow the debt avalanche method, which involves focusing on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. While this meant that I would spend longer paying off smaller debts, it would ultimately save me the most money in interest. Here's how I did it. 1. I listed all my debts by interest rate, starting with the highest interest rate, my credit cards. 2. I committed to paying off the highest interest debt first, while still making the minimum payments on all the other debts. 3. Once the highest interest debt was paid off, I moved on to the next debt in line, continuing the cycle. This approach took time, but it allowed me to focus my resources and energy on the debts that were costing me the most. There were moments when it felt discouraging, but every time I paid off a credit card or loan, it fueled my motivation to keep going. Advice: choose a debt repayment method that works best for you. If you find that tackling the smallest debts first helps you stay motivated, the debt snowball method, then go for it. The key is consistency and persistence. Step 4. Cutting back and finding extra income. While I was focused on paying down my debt, I knew that I also needed to find ways to increase my income and cut back on my expenses. There was no way I could pay off $50,000 with my current income alone, so I needed to make a change. First, I started cutting back on my spending. I reviewed every line item in my budget and made intentional choices to reduce unnecessary expenses. Here's what I did: canceled subscriptions I wasn't using, streaming services, gym memberships, etc. Cooked meals at home instead of dining out. Sold things I didn't need: clothes, electronics, furniture. Next, I started a side hustle to earn extra money. I took up freelance writing, which I could do on the weekends or in my spare time. I didn't make much at first, but every extra dollar helped reduce my debt. Over time, that side hustle turned into a consistent source of income that allowed me to pay off my debt even faster. Advice: cutting back is important, but finding ways to increase your income will accelerate your progress. If you can't reduce expenses enough, consider starting a side business or taking on freelance work. Extra money earned outside your regular job can go straight toward paying off your debt. Step 5. Building an emergency fund. While paying off my debt, I also realized the importance of having a financial cushion. I didn't want to find myself back in debt the moment something unexpected happened. So I set a goal to build an emergency fund alongside my debt repayment. I started small, aiming for $500 initially. Once I hit that goal, I kept saving until I had enough to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This provided me with a financial safety net that gave me peace of mind and helped me avoid going back into debt. Advice: don't ignore the importance of an emergency fund. Even if you're focused on paying off debt, saving for emergencies should still be a priority. It's a critical step toward becoming financially secure. Step 6. Celebrating small wins and staying focused. Throughout this journey, I had to remind myself that small wins lead to big results. Every time I paid off a credit card or paid down a loan, I celebrated it as a victory. These small wins helped me stay motivated, especially when the journey felt long. There were definitely moments when I felt discouraged, but I kept reminding myself of the ultimate goal: financial freedom. I wanted to live a life without the constant stress of debt hanging over me, and with each payment, I was getting closer to that dream. Advice: celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Paying off debt is a long journey, but every payment is a step toward financial freedom. Keep your eye on the prize and stay focused. Step 7. Shifting focus to wealth building. After paying off the majority of my debt and building my emergency fund, I realized it was time to shift my focus toward wealth building. Paying off debt had been my priority for years, but now I needed to think about how I could grow my wealth and secure my financial future. I started investing in my 401k, contributed to an IRA, and began exploring low-cost index funds. I also began reading about personal finance and learning how to grow my money in a way that would set me up for long-term success. Advice: once your debt is under control, it's time to turn your attention to building wealth. Start investing as soon as possible. Even small, consistent contributions can make a big difference over time due to the power of compound interest. Final thoughts: from $50,000 in debt to financial freedom. After 3 years of hard work, I was able to pay off my $50,000 in debt. It wasn't easy, but it was one of the most rewarding accomplishments of my life. The journey taught me so much about discipline, money management, and the importance of perseverance. If you're in debt right now, I want you to know that it's possible to get out. It may take time, effort, and sacrifice, but with the right mindset and strategies, you can build a brighter financial future. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found it inspiring, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wealthrise for more tips and stories about financial freedom. Remember, your journey to financial freedom starts today. You've got this.